Here, I guess.
I'm recording. Go.
All right, it's a go. Good afternoon. My name is Mark Kleinschmidt, and I am the President and CEO of the Anne Arundel Chamber of Commerce. And I'd like to welcome you to our second installment of our what we're calling Moving Forward, a video or a virtual get-together, something that we're going to be doing every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. With the goal of just keeping our members informed and kind of connected as we kind of move through this COVID-19 crisis. Who's been on a Zoom meeting so far? Everybody? So we're all experienced Zoomers. We've really kind of pivoted a lot. That's a word I think we're going to hear frequently now, is the word pivot and adjustment. Because there's just so much uncertainty out there. And, you know, the thing that's most important, first and foremost, is that we all take the precautions to stay safe and healthy and continue to do social distancing. As crazy as everything may sound, it actually is having an effect, and it's keeping the infection rate down. And, you know, it'll help us get to the other side sooner than later. And at that point, we can start to move forward to what's going to be, I'm calling it the new normal. I think the one thing everybody needs to keep in mind as we go through this is not going to be a fun time, clearly. And on the back end, when we do move forward, there's going to be some significant changes. And part of what we want to do from the Chamber's perspective, even with these get-togethers, is keep everybody thinking about that and get ready for the new normal. And how can you get ready quickly? And one of the things, and this is what we want to focus on today, is using digital marketing tools. Because the thing that's most important for any business is clearly cash flow. And that's the crisis right now, because a lot of us are closed and we're not getting money in the door. But there's another big C that's most important. That's our customers and clients. And what we need to do is communicate with them as much as we can. So that's what we're hoping to do here with this Moving Forward series. We're real pleased to have our friends from BG&E be our sponsor for this. So they're helping us out move this forward. They have a pretty cool program that they're launching called Connected Annapolis, which is using all of their technology to help lower your operating costs for your business. And in the chat room, you'll find a little link there. Not a link, but a download to a flyer about information for them. So that is the kind of the setup for today. Like this to be kind of interactive and not you know, just us talking at you. We're going to have a couple people chat about what they're doing, specifically social media or digital folks in that realm talk about what they do with their services and how you all may be able to use them or get some ideas from them. And then we're going to ask you all, what are you doing? You know, are there anything innovative that you guys are doing that you like to share? And then if there's any questions, we certainly want to entertain that. So to get started, first I'd like to introduce Amy Berry, who's up in the potentially the top left corner. Anybody used to watch Hollywood Squares? I don't know who that makes you, Amy, but anyway. So Amy, what's going on? How are you today?
Hi guys, I am from my home office in lovely Edgewater, Maryland. So thanks for coming out today.
Yeah, and so you guys, hopefully this goes well and you can become frequent flyers with us. And we're open to suggestions too as we go down the road for different topics. Also want to shout out to a couple folks on the call here from our tech committee. They helped us spearhead starting this last week, and our topic was working remotely for dummies. So I sat in the front row for that because I'm a remotely working dummy. And but there was some good technology tips and how to go about doing it in a very user-friendly manner. So that was pretty helpful. So today we're going to be talking about digital marketing tools and how you can navigate the COVID-19 crisis, again, with an eye towards communicating with your customers now, but even more so when we get to the other side, because I think everyone's going to have to work harder to get their business back. That's just the fact of life moving forward. So hopefully you can pick up some ideas on how to do that. So to get us started, I want to flip it over to Megan from Rock House and Tell us a little bit about what you guys are up to and what you're doing these days.
Hi there, thank you. It's nice to meet everyone virtually. I'm Megan Yarmouth with Rock House, and we are a small video production company located in Davidsonville. We basically serve clients, we travel all over the world, but we serve clients in Maryland and the DMV, some small, some large. And so, yeah, this has been a really interesting time to serve those clients. And if anyone has questions while I'm on here, I know Amy mentioned there's a chat feature that I'm going to try, and I can answer questions as they come in or at the end afterwards. But basically, and I'm sure Bill, who's following me, will agree, this is a great time to make sure that everyone's still connecting with their audiences, whether it's clients and customers or even employees. We work with some really large companies who have large internal comms teams, and they need to reach those folks through video. So some of the things that we've been doing, right away, we saw a huge shift in business like everyone else. We do a lot of videos for meetings, large conferences, and those all came to a standstill. But what we found, which was kind of interesting, was that a lot of clients still wanted to get their message out. So, or change their message. This was a great time for people to even kind of pivot. They don't want to sound tone deaf to what's going on, but they still needed to connect. So initially, we were doing, for us, whether it's even a small shoot would have probably 5 or 6 people on the shoot of crew members. And we did a special offering of what we call it in the industry a one-man band. But basically, we would send one person with a camera who would also do the lighting, the audio, everything, and maintain social distancing. So that was initially a great way to, like for CEOs who had messages that they wanted to get out about how they were going to pivot in this time, to reaching out to employees about their status, things like that. And then, of course, shelter in place happened, and even those kind of one-man small shoots changed. But we came up with a few options for clients that seems to be going really well. So what I thought was one of the most unique solutions we found is for one client, which is a healthcare app. For them, their work hasn't stopped because they have some things happening on Capitol Hill that are still moving forward and that they needed to address. So we were able to sit in and kind of guide and record some client Zoom interviews, and then guide the subjects on filming their own footage of like their healthy behaviors and B-roll. So that was kind of, and then we took all that footage and edited that together in 1-minute videos for them. So that was a way that not only did they kind of meet their need, they also looked relevant, right? Like it looks relevant to capture a Zoom meeting right now and to have kind of that footage that might not be as slick. So it looked very of the moment. So that client was really happy with that, how that turned out. The other thing that we're turning to a lot is animation and kinetic typography. And that's like a fancy way of saying those cool words that move across the screen and do neat things. This is a really cost-effective way for even if you have a small marketing budget or want to do a 30-second video for social media. Kinetic typography can have a lot of impact. And I have a couple examples that, Amy, I can put in the chat feature, but the key with that kind of treatment is to make sure you get the wording just right and spend a lot of time in the upfront, right? Because people are reading it, and often there's a voiceover as well. And so having that creative just right is really important. But It can be really cost effective, especially there's lots of templates out there. If you have an editor or someone who's kind of good at playing around in video, they can even patch that together pretty quickly for you. Or you can give someone like myself a call. We can edit that pretty cost effective. So that's another option. And then of course, just kind of even those like at home, another, like if you're just trying to come up with fun social media content that, you know, again, it has to match the tone of your business. So if it's something like a fun hand washing video, you can certainly, everything doesn't have to be fancy produced. You can certainly use your phone and capture that. You can use iMovie, or again, call either your creative person or myself or anyone who has editing capabilities to kind of quickly edit that together. But it's a great way to make sure that you're still putting content out there. So those are 3 examples. I have some fun examples of those types of videos I can put out there. And if anyone has any questions, I'm definitely around to talk all things video.
That's great, Megan. Give me that word again, the scrolling text. What is it called?
Kinetic typography.
We could all use a little kinetic typography right about now.
Yeah.
But no, I think we've all seen that, and that seems like would be an effective tool to really, you know, jazz up a presentation and get people's attention. So it's some good stuff to know. Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Bill Campbell from Balance Logic. Bill, what's going on with your group, and what are you guys up to?
We're doing a bunch of things, but first I was wondering if somebody can help me. I'm looking for that beautification feature that Zoom has, you know, to make you look more beautiful. So I was looking for that, but we're doing a bunch of things. But one of the things I want to talk about is make sure everybody is not becoming a do-gooder, if you will. So when this whole thing happened, the first thing we saw out there was all the marketing people just started blasting out, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, we're so awesome, we're following with this, we're doing that, we're being safe. I think that's the wrong message to get out. I think you should talk more about what you're doing to help your clients and educate them and help them, not how awesome you're doing as a company. So I would highly recommend that everybody do that. Talk to your marketing people, or if you're a small business owner, you know, take a look at that. Make sure you are focusing on your customer service, and make sure that you are putting the message out for them, not how awesome you're doing. It's a given that you're supposed to do that anyway, right? So it's important to make sure that you take care of your clients. So a couple of the other things I wanted to talk about was we all have websites, or most of us have websites, but right now is a great time, because what's the most valuable thing we have right now, right? We have time. And that's the most valuable thing we have. They say that time is the most valuable currency we have, period, whether it's during this time or not. So we have a lot of time. So cash in that currency. Look at your website. If you have a website, look at it. Go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure your messaging is good on there. If you don't have a website, I would highly recommend starting the process to get one. And I know we're not supposed to spend a ton of money or anything like that, but during any recession, and if anybody's been in business during any of these recessions, what's the first thing a company does when they panic? They pull in all their overhead. They stop doing this, they stop doing that, they stop doing this. Well, when you do that, you completely cut off your ability to grow or maintain. So even though we're in these interesting times, I would say, I would still put together all your strategic plans, look at a website. If you don't have one, start to put one together. There's all kinds of opportunities with companies like myself and Megan's and other companies where if you're looking to get a website or update, you're going to get a deal. Nobody's going to try and rake you over the coals right now because they're trying to get more business, right? So I think that's a good time. And then the other big thing I would say, that's one of the things that we're doing right now. The other thing is SEO, right? So you have to be found. That old saying, and anybody who's ever been to my classes or seminars I've taught at the chamber or other places, you'll hear me say all the time, you know, that old saying, if you build it, they will come. is absolutely not true. You can have the most expensive, best, sexiest website in the world, but if nobody can find you, it's pointless. There's zero value. So SEO is where that comes in. So look at SEO during these times. Everybody's on the internet, right? How many people have seen the internet completely slow down, right? Because everybody's on it. You can have the fastest speed, but you're still going to go slow. So everybody's on the internet. Everybody's searching. So look in your SEO. You know, we have some great videos on our YouTube. I think we've done some things at the chamber there that I think have been recorded. But look at your SEO. If you're not sure what it is, reach out to some of us and ask us some questions on it. But put that strategy together of what you would do on SEO, your keywords, things like that. Make sure you're able to be found. And I think that the other thing is create a strategic plan. You know, you have plenty of time right now. You're home. You don't have to make a commute. Put together that plan of what you're going to do, what you're going to do now. And if you are one of the unfortunate companies that's having a challenging time, don't gravel in it. Make it a positive and look at the plan that you're going to do when things start to recover, and then put that plan together. And then the only other thing I would say is create a podcast. We're in the world of podcasts now. So create a podcast. I think Megan said it. If everybody remembers before when we had scripted TV, right? Everything was scripted. Everything was on a script. I think now when that changed, the curve of real life TV started to come out, right? It was non-scripted reality TV, right? So I think we're hitting that other curve now with Karen said you can put in your phone, do a video with your phone or whatever it may be, but people don't really care if your video is perfect, right? They care if it's real. So I think we're hitting that second curve of reality TV. So don't be afraid to take a video of yourself in your office and post it up if you have some tips to share or whatever it may be. Same thing with the podcast. You know, back in the day, podcasts used to be nothing but audio, but today apparently it's video of people doing audio. So it's somewhat interesting. So it's very easy to do. They're releasing entire motion pictures that were shot on iPhone 11. So you have the tools. Most of us have the tools in our hand. So I would just say, you know, we use that word pivot. Well, pivot in your business strategy and do something that you normally wouldn't do. What's the worst that can happen now, right? You know, we're in a challenging time. Take that risk, do something to potentially get you to that next level. So I know it was long-winded, but I had a couple of points I wanted to get through.
No, good points. Thank you, Bill. I think it was interesting because you kind of carried on a theme that Megan started about, you know, communications and using the technology, and the idea of thinking about getting ready on the back end when we move through this. How are we going to, you know, get ready to go back to business? It's unfortunately not going to be like a ribbon cutting. Boom, we cut the ribbon and the economy's back to where it was. It's going to be a slow time to get back. But the successful businesses are the ones who are going to figure out a way to be found. That's why SEO is important. And maybe you do take that time now to gussy up your digital persona, if you will. And you can do that with the idea of being ready on the back end when we start to return to business. So a couple good points to get us started. I want to jump over to Jeanette from Soliday, talk a little bit about what you guys are up to and what are you all doing with digital media during this COVID crisis? Oh, we got her. We've got her video or audio on. Or
I've got her audio on, but she must have hers off. We can't hear you, Jeanette.
See. See, it wouldn't be a Zoom call unless there was some technical difficulties. There's always something that comes up to work.
All right, she said she's going to go out and get back in. So we want to go to Ashley with What's Up Media.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So, well, I has everybody seen What's Up Media online recently? We've been doing a lot of more online promotion. And we're just trying to help continue to get the word out to our readers and the community as quickly as the information comes to us. In our April issue, you'll notice that we did not print an events calendar because there was no events for anybody to attend. You will see the same thing again with our May issue. So we were able to save costs there for our company standpoint, as well as I just wanted to really bring up how important digital has become for us as a media company throughout this whole entire thing. We are sending out daily emails now to our readership. We have about 24,000 people on our email list. So that's been with a very high percentage of opens and click-throughs. The national, I think if I have my numbers right, are between about 8 to 10% of newsletters are opened, and about 1% have or less are clicked on to go on to read the information. Our COVID-19 site that we're updating probably, 10 times a day with information is getting a lot of traffic. We're trying to help make sure that all the restaurants that are open for business, and many of them are just coming back on and getting involved in opening now that they realize that this is going to go on for a while. So just continue, to keep us updated, and we will continue to keep everyone else updated. The SEO that Bill brought up is so important for small business owners and any business owner. What's Up does, we, as a community publication, we pay for some SEO as well, just to get community events out there and ticket sales for the advertisers. We also have the geofencing and the geo-targeting, which I'm not sure if anybody is aware of those terms. The geofencing is where, and Bill's shaking his head, you're aware. The geofencing is where we can fence in an area. So like right now, the only places that everybody's at is at the grocery store, right? And sometimes you're standing outside in line on your mobile phone. Your business can fence in the local Giants, the local Trader Joe's, wherever you want to fence, and you can reach that audience that's inside those buildings, or within a certain couple miles within that area or something like that. So if anybody's interested in knowing more about that, we have some sales staff that can really help you out on that information. And the geo targeting is where you can reach the demographic that you want based on what they're looking at on their cell phones or mobile devices, I believe. So those are just fencing, FENCING, Dawn. So those are just ideas that I hadn't heard get brought up yet, but that's a way to reach audiences in those certain areas. And then we also, I just posted for everybody, we have a webinar that's coming up, and Ryan Dorn he's helped the What's Up sales staff over the past year. So we have actually paid a little bit of money for him to join the community of Annapolis and Eastern Shore. And it's free to the first 500 people that sign up. And it's Thursday at 9. And Essex Bank, the local bank here in Annapolis, actually is partnering with us and helped us secure that for the city. So if you guys are interested in joining us on there, I'm sure he'll have a lot of information to share and help everybody. Thank you, Amy.
Great, thanks, Ashley. And let's try Jeanette. What do you think?
I don't know. Can everybody hear me?
There you are. Hello.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here with you. Thanks, Mark. And it's so neat to hear what everybody's doing, and it's wonderful. I'm so glad to get to share a bit with you all. So my name is Jeanette Kreuzberg again, from Solidate Marketing and Development. And I just kind of wanted to tell you a little bit about what we are working on and give some practical kind of ideas to everyone right now in this time. To some of us who've been in digital marketing for quite a while, it's going to seem a little bit basic, but Solidate works a lot with small business owners, entrepreneurs, startups who are, really just kind of getting started or don't know where to start. It's been interesting for my business because when all of this kind of started, I had a moment of being like, oh goodness, what's going to happen to my business? But very quickly, I found out that what ended up happening for me is that things that businesses and smaller kind of entrepreneurial businesses had been putting off for a while, as far as getting their social media accounts looking good and really filled with content, and getting their blogs rolling, getting their websites really, really up to date. They've been putting that off for so long. And immediately there was this big boom of, Bill, you hit it nail on the head. It's like, this is all we have now. So there's a huge acceleration in people being like, okay, I need all this stuff yesterday, I need it done, now, and I don't know how to do it. So part of what I've been doing is working with business owners and managers, really, office managers, helping to train staff who's already employed with some small businesses in how they can use what bandwidth they have right now to use the staff that they already have to do things like, build up their social media engagement and start up with their email marketing, which is what I kind of want to get into today. Email marketing. A lot of us get really, really covered with social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of this. Those are all wonderful things. But something that I'd like small business owners especially to think about is owning your engagement and owning your customer base. So what I mean by that is it's probably not a good idea. We see that Facebook and Instagram and all of these things are changing seemingly on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis. But email never fails. We own the email addresses that people give us. We can use them to our benefit, and we don't have to really worry about algorithm shifts on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and what have you. So what I would encourage people to be doing right now, small business owners especially, this is an amazing time because you have so much opportunity. I mean, we are a captive audience right now on the internet. So it's time to start building up your email list. Engagement in email is still really, really, really good. With Facebook organically, even if you have a fairly large Facebook follower list, your organic engagement that you're not paying for is fairly low. Teeny tiny organically without paying for it. So, but email still has, really, if you've got some good copy, which, we can talk about, please ask any questions about that. But if you have really good, effective email copy, email open rates are still pretty good, and they're actually performing better in this time period that we're in right now. So ways to capture audience email addresses so that you're able to stay in communication with them. There's a tool called HelloBar that you can get, anybody can get. It will be compatible for the most part with just about any website. It is super, super, super super easy to use. This is something that you all right now could go out and put on your website. If you do not have a very, if you don't have like a really super conspicuous way to capture email right now, this is a great thing to put on your website. So go to hellobar.com and you can design very easily either a bar that goes atop the screen on your website, something that might pop up when people are about to leave your website, something that could be something come in the side of your website that just gives an offer. Maybe it's take 20% off of your next service, or perhaps it's, sign up for our newsletter where we give you information about this or that thing. It's individual to each business, but you want to kind of be creating an offer that is enticing to people and for them to want to give you their email address so that you can keep in touch with them. Email addresses are gold. So do what you can do. HelloBar is free. There are paid versions of it, but the basic version is free and it is extremely, extremely effective. Dawn just asked, when you say email opens are still pretty good, can you give an approximate percent? Yes. So this is an interesting thing because it varies widely. If your email subject line is pretty boring and kind of basic, it's very likely to get buried in what we call email blindness, where a lot of us have signed up for many, many things, many newsletters, many notifications, and you kind of look at your email at this point and you don't even see anything. But if you are using enticing subject lines, things that some people, I don't believe in this, but some people call it clickbait. But if you're using very enticing email subject lines, your open rates can be upwards of 20%, 25%. We see anywhere from about 11% to 30%. Some people are getting into 40%. Again, it depends on the industry and it depends very, very much on your specific approach to your email subject lines. I know that is a huge, huge range that I just gave you, but it's going to be somewhere between there. We can talk afterwards, or you can always get in touch with me to talk about numbers that are more specific to your industry. But anyway, that's the first thing I want to mention is HelloBar. Super easy to do. Add it to your website. Start collecting those emails. Emails are amazing. Then you want to talk about, okay, Jeanette, once we have the people's email addresses, what in the world do we do with them? There are if you're not already sending emails out to your clients and your customers, please, I beg you, this is something that you need to be doing. You need to be keeping in touch with people. It can be once a month. It can be once a week. You're going to need to determine that with, you and your team, or somebody like myself or Bill or whoever who can help you kind of flesh this out. But you need to be keeping in contact with people and offering value to them. Your email strategy doesn't need to be about, hey, come to buy something from me because I'm going to give you 50% off of XYZ. It doesn't always need to be that. You need to think about email sometimes as a little bit more of a long game. Sure, offers are great, coupons are wonderful, but think about what value you can provide through email. A lot of that is going to come from knowing with a laser focus who your client is, who your customer is, what is their avatar, so to speak. So again, these are things that if you want to discuss further and kind of get a little bit more into that, we can always talk about it anytime later. So anyway, back to now you've got the email. What do you want to do with it? There is something called MailChimp that I love. I've been using it for years with some of my businesses. I love it. It's super easy to use. There's a free version. It's basic. I see Dan giving me the thumbs up there. Yes. You like that too, huh? Yeah, I love MailChimp. It could be because I've been using it for a long time, but I love it. Super easy to use. That is a great way to load up those emails, and you can send people really, really valuable content. You could sit there on a Sunday evening and write out the next 4 weeks of emails if you want to, and not have to touch it again if you'd like. Part of what I'm doing with Soliday is helping people to simplify a lot of these processes. Digital marketing is not an option. You don't have the option. We didn't have it before, but now, especially post-coronavirus, it's not an option for our businesses. We have to be moving forward using these tools for digital marketing. But what I do is help you to really simplify these processes. So MailChimp is an amazing resource. You could probably futz around in there a bit and kind of figure out the basics of it. MailerLite is another really robust system that they have a free forever plan that's pretty robust and great. Again, as you grow into having more contacts, more people that you need to reach, there are paid versions, but the free versions of these things are pretty amazing. I'm going to write these down in the chat box after I'm done. Another thing that I think that everybody should be using right now, if you're not already, is Facebook and Instagram Creator Studio. So we have things that are like third-party applications like MailChimp that I mentioned. MailChimp does a lot of different things. A lot of these applications do many different things. Buffer. And these are kind of social media schedulers, so you can create your social media posts in them. But we don't recommend using them for organic posts much anymore because Facebook doesn't love them. And organically, when you're using these third-party applications, Facebook tends to throttle a little bit of your engagement that's already organically pretty low. So if you're not paying for ads. So what I would recommend is using a newer thing that Facebook has, a native application that's Facebook Creator Studio, links to Instagram Creator Studio, and it's just so painfully easy to use. Having consistent social media postings does not have to swallow your life. So creating multiple posts and scheduling them out using Facebook Creator Studio is an amazing, amazing way for people who are, that need to increase their engagement. They want to start talking more to their audience. Again, you can take it on a Sunday evening, write a bunch of posts and schedule them out for the week and not have to look at it again for the next week. The last thing that I just want to mention really quickly is, as you're thinking about, okay, I need to build my social media presence, what do I do? Think about, or I don't know what to say. Think about being a content curator as opposed to a content creator all the time. You don't always have to come up with these like brilliant, mind-blowing ideas in order to have impact and in order to reach out and touch your audience. So think about the things that industry-related things that you are coming across. Think about inspirational things that you've read, or maybe you heard on one of those podcasts that Bill mentioned that you're going to start soon. Think about something that you've heard out there and create a cool graphic about it. Canva is another really, really great source for people to use who do not have a graphic design background, and you maybe don't want to reach out and call somebody like me to do all of your graphic design. Maybe you want to try your hand at it yourself. Canva has a free version that, they already have these templates for people to be able to create very quickly and quickly deploy social media graphics. So I know that was a whole lot of information, but please feel free at any time to reach out to me, Soliday Marketing and Development, Jeanette Kreuzberg. Hit me up in the chat box if you want. I can get you my information. Any of this that you want to hear again or want to chat about, please just let me know, and I'll reach out to you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jeanette. You had some a lot of great points and things that people can pick up and start to use now. I think one of the things you touched on, and we're not at anyone a lack of information, and being a curator of content is pretty important in finding to send that information out, pass it along. One of the things we encountered at the chamber is that any and every business organization and elected official started sending out all the same information, and it was just a mess, not a mess, it was just overload. And the other difficulty was, as things were developing, the information was changing, and so what's the most accurate, what's the most timely? So we had to make, you know, a decision. What we tried to do is kind of pull back a little bit, and we opted to send out stuff that was more, we thought, more meaningful that people could use and have links, as opposed to, you know, here's the governor's executive order. We've posted it, all 4 pages. You can read it now. Well, okay, maybe not, but it comes too much. So getting the right information is out. And I think I've heard a theme from everybody too. We have a lot of time now to kind of work on our digital presence. So I have 2 questions to throw out to the group. One's a little, one's serious. Well, they're both serious. But let me start with the first one that's maybe not so serious. And just a show of hands, during the extra time that you've had here, who's made a TikTok? Oh, we've got one TikToker.
Already did.
Okay. Okay. If you all haven't seen TikTok, you need to get the app and look at it. You can, it's great. My daughters have shown it to me. I've looked, I haven't made one, just let me here. But it is pretty entertaining, and they do it by industries or topics, and it's sort of interesting, and a lot of it has gone over COVID-19 issues and other things, but it does, if you need a break, I'd check that out. The other thing I just want to ask and throw out in general is, just if someone, I don't know who wants to address it, but explain what CEO is and how do we make it better?
SEO, you mean?
SEO, that's right, I'm sorry. CEO, oh yeah, those guys, yeah. How about SEO? How do you make it better? And
Bill,
what is
is
it?
that a you question? Oh, hold on. Do I need to unmute you? There you go. No, you need to unmute you.
All right, I could take that if you like.
Go for it.
So SEO is, there's lots of companies out there that will tell you, hey, I can get you on the first page of Google, just pay me all this money. Well, the reality is not everybody can be on the first page of Google. Not everybody can be in the top 3. So obviously that's a ploy to get you to do business. SEO is actually very, very simple. It is just a set of strategies and tactics that are used to make things better. And it's from top down, like everything else we learned in grade school, from the Roman numeral 1 to letter A to little 1, it's an outline. So same thing with SEO. You start at your domain name. So the first thing you would do is you would get keywords. And a lot of people make a huge mistake in saying, okay, the keywords that I want people to find me on are the services that I offer. Well, that's great, but how many people offer those services? So there's going to be millions and millions of searches, and you're going to get lost. So when you create keywords, you have to make things that are very unique to you. And there's something called, keywords and then long tail keywords. So a keyword would be red shoes, right? So if you search red shoes, you're probably going to get a ton of results, and a small business is not going to be there. But if you create something called a long tail that says an Annapolis area red shoes, then you're going to get that more defined down. So when you're creating keywords, think of something that's very unique to you. Very quick story. So back when I started my company 15 years ago, we offered accounting and bookkeeping services. And we were out there putting bookkeeping as our SEO 10 years ago. And we were getting 0 hits. And we couldn't figure out why. Then we found out that when people in Southern Maryland type bookkeeping, they type it book space keeping. So very, very different results. So be very strategic when you pick your keywords. Pick 6 to 8 keywords. And then what you want to do is you want to go top down. Start with your domain name. If you have a great domain name for your company, hopefully that has a keyword in it. Then you want to start with your page descriptions or your page title, right? Every web page has a title to it. Then from there, you want to go down and create what's called H1 tags and H2 tags, which the H is a header, header 1 and header 2. So basically there's your hierarchy. And then when you name your pages of your website, if you do it or if you have somebody else do it, put the word, that keyword in that page name. Or if you already created your website, use those page names for your keywords. So example, digital marketing services, right? So the name of that page would be whatever.com/digital-marketing-services, because Google works based on keywords and it doesn't use prepositions like and and or and the. So you just want to put a hyphen between those words so it'll search all those words separately. If you put them all together, if you put digital marketing together, it's going to search everything that says digital marketing instead of digital and marketing, if that makes any sense. So it's that's how the algorithms work. So when you have those structures down, then what you want to do is you want to repeat those keywords and key phrases on each of your pages. Don't put 15 of the keyword of digital marketing on every single page, because that's called keyword stuffing. And what's going to happen is you're going to get penalized and tossed out, and they won't even index your site. So you want to put it 2 or 3 times on each page, but when you do it, include it in a standard sentence. Like, we offer digital marketing, the best digital marketing services in Anne Arundel County. And for, other information, you can search our other pages. So that's like a flowing sentence. And then you want to anchor that text. So that digital marketing, the words digital marketing, you want to anchor that, which means you want to create a hyperlink, and then those 2 words would link to another page that has information about digital marketing. And the reason that you do that is the number one tactic you get for popularity is backlinks. The more people that click to you or the more people that point to you, the more popular you're going to be. So when I teach my SEO course, I say it very simply. Anybody that knows anything about politics, and I'm not a politics guy by any means, but if you know about politics, there's 2 big things that are big in politics and how people get elected, right? And they are relevance to the issues that are going on in the world and how popular they are by how much money they spend on ads and stuff, right? So it's relevance and popularity. So SEO is exactly the same thing. Your algorithms in Google depend on how relevant you are and how popular you are. So relevance being the keywords that are searched, and popular being how many times those keywords are being directed to. In other words, how many times they're being linked to your specific site. So if you just follow those couple things, and I know it might've been a little bit technical, but anybody can email me, call me with any questions on that. I think I have a video on my YouTube channel as well that explains SEO, but that's really, it's very basic. You want to pick a set of words that people are searching for and make sure that information is in the content on your website. But when you pick those keywords, make sure they're strategic and relevant to you, not so broad that you'll get lost in a million searches. So there's my overview.
Good
Well,
advice.
Hey, Bill, will you put in your contact info in the chat? It has been requested.
Absolutely.
Yeah, also you may have to link to that YouTube channel. It sounds like you might have some other really good relevant and popular material.
Yes.
So let's throw it out. Anybody else have a question or anything? I got a couple things I'll throw out there, but I don't want to throw them out. I want to give somebody else some airtime. Any questions or anything interesting that you've been seeing going on in the digital realm as we've been running around here in the COVID world?
This is Dan from Loyal Dog Consulting. And can you guys hear me? Okay, good. One thing we're doing is in our marketing, we're just telling people that, like, we're a B2B business, and we're telling our customers who work with other customers to reach out to them and just see how they're doing. 3-minute phone call. and not selling anything or anything like that, and just say as you're getting ready to hang up, hey, if there's anything you need, we'll do that for you, okay? Just give me a call. I've been doing that with a lot of my customers. Some people that, they've been stuck at home and the only people they have to talk to is their dog, like me. And so they love to talk to people. Also, somebody gave me the idea. I was on this thing that was from Facebook, a couple of college friends, and we were challenging each other to make a video of making a particular cocktail. And somebody said, you should just put that on your blog for Loyal Dog. And say, it has nothing to do with Loyal Dog. And they said, exactly. It's you, the owner of the company, and you're doing something that's just kind of fun on a Friday. And, it'd be something that you'd probably get more hits on there than anything else you put on your blog. So I'm going to try that.
Popular, relevant, and tasty.
Yes.
So
That's
I know I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to say it again because there's a lot of different people here. I've been doing a lot of leveraging my LinkedIn with my in-world contacts. And so looking at somebody that I'd like to talk to, figuring out who I have in common, and then asking them to reach out for me to have a conversation. So far, I've had 4 really great conversations with people that I'm going to connect with on a deeper level afterwards. They said, yeah, let's get coffee or whatever when this is over. But now they already have had a conversation with me. So I feel like that's going to give me a foothold in the worlds that I'm trying to permeate here.
Has anyone gone to a digital or virtual happy hour? How has that worked out if you have to attend such an event?
Happy hour right now.
Are you saying like a professional one? Because I've done stuff with, college buddies and dog friends and stuff.
Well, I guess both. I mean, how do you use this format to kind of bring people together? I mean, we're exchanging some ideas here on a particular topic, but I haven't gone to one myself, and I have to look at it and I'm thinking, boy, is that like a big free for all, or how do they do it?
Yeah, it is like that. It's basically everybody's talking over each other. There's the only best way to do it is actually the format we're doing right now, which is, I want to call it moderated, basically, because if not, you'll have everybody talking over each other and it just gets frustrating. I did one.
How do I find out about where they are?
Google SEO.
There's that,
Facebook.
yeah, I actually, would it be possible for me to send Amy a list of some events? Because there are definitely a lot of happy hour events going on right now, and networking events that are still going on right now, just virtually. If I could send you a list, then maybe you could disperse it to everyone.
Yeah. Stick them in there. Send me a list. And, since we're talking about this, I would love to see if everybody would write in the chat that's not calling on their phone. We have a lot of non-members that we don't know that registered for this. So I'm just curious if you want to put in the chat where you found out about this webinar series, whether it was via Facebook or a website or how you heard about it. Let us know. Put that in the comments.
Going back to the happy hour, I would just say you got to watch the demographics. I mean, we are all professionals and stuff. We're used to using Zoom. Tried it with my family on Easter night, and I had one aunt that all you could see was her eye, and you couldn't hear a thing. And the thing is, I've been trying to find something out there that is really that explains how to do Zoom very, very easily, and I'm still searching for that because they want to do it again next week, and I put the whole thing together.
So,
if you want to forward, Amy, if you want to forward the email blast I sent out on working from home at Zoom, it has 7 tips in there on how to Zoom.
Oh, yes. Did you send it to me? Do I have it?
I think, or Mark may have been on the list. I'm not sure. I'll forward it over to you.
Okay.
See, Dave Carter chimed in that he has attended a virtual happy hour. Dave, who chairs our tech committee, could you share with us your experience all the way from potentially Montana? Is that where your background is?
Yes, my home that I grew up in.
There you go.
I would agree with Bill. It's definitely needs to be moderated. I've done some that have been, and that's great, and people can talk and what have you. But the minute I did one with like 11 people, and just that doesn't seem like a lot of people, but everyone starts talking over each other and you can't hear and no one knows what's going on, and everything gets really lost. What I did notice though is about halfway through it, people started to, when they heard someone talk, they would just back off. And I was muting so people could see that I would mute so I wouldn't get in people's way. But it is a great way. But I definitely suggest having a moderator. It's because you can't really take it offline except in chat. So that's kind of the hard thing. Like if I wanted to talk to Bill, I can't just go, hey, I'm just going to talk to him and our voice go to each other. So, but it's a great way to do it. And whether we like it or not at this time, it is what it is. I just got off another call, and because we do a thing, Tech Talk series, which is kind of what what this spawned out of too, to, where we can help each other and do talks and things. And we did ours last week for the chamber, and they were talking about how they don't like this and but again, there's no choice. So I say make the best of it, and and go to as many as you can. It does help cure the doldrums, and you get to see what people are doing and how people are functioning in this world. And I'm finding things every day that I didn't know that, and I'm in the tech world. I mean, this is what we do. We're a managed service provider, but I think it's a fantastic thing. And I found in our office, even because we use Teams for our thing, and people are getting more work done, but also connecting in different ways. The chit chat's not as much, but you're getting deeper and more focused work with individuals. So it's give and take, and you just got to kind of roll with it.
There's actually an app that's created for happy hour. It's called Dance Party. I don't think anybody's ever heard of that.
Oh, I've read about it. I hadn't used it.
I'm not advocating or recommending it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And there's House Party too, which is another one that has trivia and games and things like that.
I think somebody likes to dance party. I'm just.
You're making me red. Where's that beautification filter?
In my one, we did. I did a game thing where I have Natty bow caps. They have the puzzles on the back, and I could hold them up, and people had to figure out what they were.
All right. I'd keep these to around an hour. We've gone pretty good conversation so far. Well, we have in the bucket several topics that we're milling around to think about for next week. Y'all have any suggestions of what would be kind of a general a topic that we could kick around and have some people chat about a little bit and open it up just kind of like we did today? Any thoughts?
Starting a business in a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good.
How about strategic planning? Small business strategic planning. Coming up with some plans on a strategy to either continue on what you're doing or pivot in a different direction.
How to pivot and survive and thrive.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How
That's a
about-
huge thing right now.
Yeah.
How about, since a lot of us are small businesses, dealing with the Small Business Administration right now, the forms and all the other stuff that's going on? There's so much information out there, you don't even know where to begin.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a challenging there. Yeah, so all right, so we'll noodle around on that. One of the things we wanted to do with this is keep bringing folks together to share and build a community, because the other thing about networking, and that's what we've been doing here, and we didn't give out any business cards, but we got to hear each other a little bit. We learned a little bit from each other, hopefully, and build a relationship. And, research shows and common sense tells you, people will do business with people they know. So you follow the logic, the more people you know, the better shot you have of doing business. And as we get to the other side of COVID-19, that's what we need. We need those relationships. So tell some folks about this next Tuesday at 3:00. We haven't had our topic set yet, but we'll be working on that. And as we get ready to sign off, let me leave you with this. This is one of my favorite things. Here we go. Favorite baseball players is Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson was a great baseball player and multi-sport star. But more than that, he was a person who faced great adversity and overcame it. And it was just that. So his expression of never give up means a lot to me. Tomorrow is Jackie Robinson's birthday. It's Jackie Robinson Day. And usually when Major League Baseball is in session, and unfortunately they're not, all the players wear number 42 as a, kind of a commemoration to Jackie and what he did for America and for all people. So anyway, just in the spirit of Jackie Robinson, never give up. We're going to be on the other side of the COVID-19 and we're going to do all right. So that's ending comments for me. Anybody have anything else they'd like to share before we sign off?
Nope.
Okay.
Then there's the awkward everybody getting off Zoom call. Every single call.
Yep,
Right?
that is true.
So
Well, nice to meet you all. Hopefully we'll see you at future ones.
it was good Zooming with
Good
you.
meeting.
Yeah.
right.
Bye, guys.
Tell your friends.
Thanks.
See ya. Bye now.
Bye.
Megan, I'm sending you my yay. Okay, perfect. Rock,
Thanks, ladies. Good job. Appreciate it.
rockhousegc.com. Got it. Okay.